Hello, students. This is Ecology, and I'm Professor Rita Yam, and this is our first lecture, and we are going to have a course introduction. So, before the start of the lecture content, I'm going to have a brief introduction of myself. I am Rita Yam, and I'm from the Department of Bioenvironmental System Engineering, and I'm an ecologist working on different aquatic ecosystems. So you can see from these pictures showing some of the fieldworks in our laboratories. You can see here I am measuring the water quality in the rivers. So we work in rivers, in ponds and lakes and reservoirs from lowland to high mountain. And also we work on the coastal waters, include mangroves and different intertidal zones. So my research is mainly focusing on the biodiversity and ecosystem functions. So my work covers the ecologies of macroinvertebrates. This includes the crabs, the shrimps, the bivalves, and the gastropods, and mainly fishes from the aquatic ecosystems and the ecosystem functions. And I use lots of chemical methods to analyze the ecological problems. And for the application sides of my work, mainly focusing on the conservation and restoration of ecosystems. So some of you may know that I work a lot on ecological engineering as a method for ecological restoration for many degraded ecosystems. And if you would like to know more about my work or the course ecology, you are very welcome to email me, and this is my email address. 各位同学，如果对于生态学或是我的研究有兴趣的话，很欢迎寄信给我，这是我的 email， 来跟我聊聊哦。Okay, as you may notice that our class use English as the teaching language. And the reason is very simple, because it facilitates our studying, because most of our reference materials, books, papers, and multimedia material are written in English. And also, if some of you would like to further your studies, or you would like to find out more about the ecology science, most of the papers are written in English, so you can have easier for you to acquire the knowledge. And of course, if you would like to have your work, scientific work publishing in the future, English would be a very important tool. And some of you would like to participate in international conferences, so English is the international language. So that's why our class is mostly conducted in English, but I will explain some important terms, key points, and important concepts using Mandarin. Okay, so about the main focuses of our class, I've talked about the human impact, human activities, and the nature, the interactions, and I'm also would talk about one important central concept about ecology, which is evolution and adaptation, which is going to be the content for next week. And for the ecological application, I'm going to focusing on 4 different levels, including individual organisms, populations, 单独的生物族群 community and ecosystems 群聚跟生态系 regional and global scale 区域跟全球的尺度。And at the end of the semester, I'm going to talk about some interesting topics about ecologies, covering successions, biodiversity crisis and conservations, and also I'm going to talk about ecological restoration and ecosystem management. Okay. This is the course schedule of this semester, and in this semester, maybe you have already realized we have many university holidays. So for those university holidays, we are not going to have any lecture. So please refer to this timetable for the detail when you need to come to the lecture or when we're going to have no lecture due to the university holiday. And during this semester, we have several weeks arranged for online lecture. For example, this week, because I have to attend our international conference, so I'm not able to come to NTU campus to conduct the course this week. And for the week on the 27th of March, I also need to attend another important meeting, so we may need to have online lecture arrangement, but I'm not sure yet. I will let you know the exact arrangement later, okay? During this semester, I'm not going to take the attendance of you, okay? But we have an exception. For the week on the final examination, I will take your attendance. Please remember, okay, for any student, if you are late or absent in the final examination, you will receive 0 mark. So this is very serious. Please bear in mind, it would be very important for you to come to the final examination punctually, okay? Any late or absence would result in 0 mark. Okay, so for the progress of the class, basically we may change to be faster or slower based on the learning progress. Okay, so this is my plan for this semester. Maybe we may make some change, okay, because of your progress. Okay, and for this course schedule, I have already uploaded to the NTU Ecol website, so you can refer to the NTU Ecol website from time to time to keep you updated for any change or new arrangement for our course. Okay, as I have already mentioned, we may have the possibility of online teaching. So in case of our any special arrangement, basically because of I need to go for field work and I may have some important meetings to attend during the semester, I will arrange online lecture, okay, on those particular days. And if I'm going to arrange online lecture, I will let you know in advance, and the lecture videos will be uploaded to NTU Ecol at latest 2 p.m. on the correspondence lecture date. And it is very important, so all students, please bear in your mind, and it is your responsibility to test and make sure you can watch the videos properly because the scheduled lecture, okay? And if there is any arrangement for the online lecture, I will announce later. Okay, some very important points it's very important for all of you, and please pay attention. And this is about the arrangement of our assessments of all of you. Your final grades, and which is about 100% of each student, is calculated based on the exact marks from the following 2 assessment components. First, home assignments and class assignments, which would be account for 40% of your final grade, and then the final examination, which would be account for 60% of your final grade. And please note that there will be no adjustment or curving for your final grade, so your final grade would be only calculated based on your exact marks on the above 2 assessment components as I just mentioned. And there would be no supplementary examination, so happy. And please remember that all your final grade, okay, would be made by myself or with the help of the TAs, okay? We will assess your assignments carefully, and your final exam papers would be marked by myself very carefully, so there would be no negotiation or argument of your final grade. Now, I'm going to explain the details about the 2 assessment components one by one. First, the home assignments and class assignments. All the home assignments and class assignments must be submitted to the designated link of assignments of NTU Cool website on the designated date and time. So make sure you submit your assignments and report, okay, before the designated date and time. Any late submission would result in 0 marks, and any file of assignments cannot be opened or cannot be seen from NTU Cool website on or before the designated submission date and time would result in 0 mark. And I will check the content of your assignments and reports carefully, and if any plagiarism or copying is found, all the students involved would result in 0 mark. Also, I know it's very common to use AI as the tools to help you to understand the lecture content or find more useful information to help you to understand the lecture content better. But in order to make sure you really understand the lecture content and the relevant knowledge, it would be important for you to complete the assignment by yourself. Of course, you can discuss the assignments with your classmates, okay? But no copying, okay? And also, do not use AI to answer the question of the home assignments and class assignments directly, okay? If any direct evidence or suspect evidence is found, 0 mark will be given, okay? And the answers of all assignment would be announced during the lecture, okay? No need to worry if you have any question about the assignments. About the assignments, okay? I will announce the answer during the lecture. Okay, second, final examination. Our final examination of this semester would be arranged on the 12th of June, okay? Which would be the last week of the semester, of this semester. And the exam content would include all the lecture handout from week 1 to week 15 and all the relevant chapters in the textbook and the selected reference paper and the selected videos, okay? And please remind that during the examination, we will check carefully for all the candidates, and you have to, and all the candidates are reminded that cheating is not allowed, okay? So any candidate who engage in any form of copying or cheating in the examination would be disqualified from the course. No smart device, mobile phone, computer, book, direct dictionary, and any form of notes is allowed in examination, okay? And as I just mentioned, no supplementary examination would be arranged. And no worry about the final examination, okay? And I will give you some tips about the final examination and later during the semester. And more detail about the final examination would also be announced at the end of the semester. And something important for you to know for your class discipline, if you have class, and then please make sure that mobile phone, computer, and any sound making device, please turn off or switch to silence mode so don't cause any disturbance to the class. And sleeping and chatting during the class is annoying, so please be respectful. And please note that all the lecture material would only be uploaded to NTU Cool website, okay? So keep checking the NTU Cool website to make sure you receive the most update information from the course. And all the lecture handout would be uploaded to the NTU Cool website 1 day before the lecture, okay? and it is your responsibility to download the lecture handout before the lecture. And if you would like to discuss with me about the course about ecology or about research on ecology, you are very welcome to have meeting with me, but by appointment. Okay, so you can email me to arrange a time, and then we can have a one-to-one face-to-face discussion. Okay, so when we have meeting, of course you have to wear a medical mask, and if you email me, I would like to remind you that please tell me your name. Okay, don't just tell me your student number. It's very important for me to know your name, and I know who I am responding to. And please mention your question clearly. And when you email me, please only by NTU email so that I know that you are my students. Okay? For you to understand the course content effectively, and in order to help you to study effectively, effective means of communications would be very important. If you have any questions about the lecture content or students, you are very welcome to contact me, writing me email, and here is my email address, or arrange a face-to-face meeting with me. Okay, but please make appointment with me first, because I'm not always sitting in my office, and I may go out for field work or meeting from time to time. So if you would like to have any meeting with me, no problem, but please make appointments with me. You can email me first. Okay, and for our course, we have 2 teaching assistants. We have Shen-Zhi, Lin Shen-Zhi, and Yan-Ting, Huang Yan-Ting. Okay, here are their email address, and they provide consultation session for all the students in the class, and they will be available for discussion about the lecture content every week during the semester from 9 a.m. to 12 noon every first day. Okay, so you can write them email in case you have some questions, or you may need some help by the TA. Okay, of course you are also welcome to contact me. Okay, for the references of the course, this is our textbook, the COPS 2014 Ecology, the Experimental Analysis of Distribution and Abundance, the 6th edition. This is this one. And we have this book available in NTU library, and this is the 5th edition, and also available in NTU library. I have checked the content of these 2 versions, the 5th edition and the 6th edition. Basically, the content is the same. So if you cannot get this one, you get this one. It's actually, there's no difference between them. Okay, and here are another 2 very important reference you may you would like to have a look. Okay, these 2 books are also available in NTU library, and during the course I would have suggest some paper or reading material for you, mostly related to our case studies. Okay, please note several very important things. First, our course, Ecology, is a professional course, and I am teaching the professional knowledge about ecology and the professional skill for studying ecology. So this is not our general study course. Okay. Number 2, if you want to pass this course, not difficult, but you have your responsibility to fulfill all the course requirements, including the 2 grading components, which is first the assignments. You have to complete the assignments and submit them before the submission deadline, and study well and perform well in the final examination. So, we're going to start our lecture now. What is ecology? What is ecology? According to some early scientists, ecology is the scientific natural history. And another scientist, Oldham, he mentioned that ecology is the study of structures and functions of nature or ecosystem. And another scientist, Andrew Wolfer, he mentioned that ecology is to study the interactions that determine the distribution and abundance of organisms. And for any of this definition, you can see it's a bit earlier. So it only covers part of ecology, because ecology, as we realize today, is an interdisciplinary science. Ecology is an interdisciplinary science. It studies all different aspects in the ecosystems. So it covers the field of physiology, behavioral science, evolution, and genetics. Okay, of course, the main body of ecologies cover lots of interaction between different organisms and their environments. Okay, and in our course, because of the limitation of the time, I would not talk about genetic too much. I'm only going to cover a little bit when I talk about evolution. So, why studying ecology? Basically, for living, if you are living in the ancient world, okay, ecology means if you understand ecology, you understand how their environment change, how the behavior of different animals, so it can facilitate you to find your food or find your water resource. And of course, some of you may have natural wonders, or this is a very important science to study. But more important, even if you are not interested in ecology science, ecology actually equal to the knowledge of biological resources. Okay, so ecology is the central knowledge about aquaculture, fishery, management and conservation of different natural resources and services, and it helps us to solve environmental problems such as using ecological engineering techniques. And the knowledge of ecology also support human to have a sustainable development of the population because of effective management of different biological resources. So here I'm going to show you some picture about human and nature. So you can see these pictures is all about the degradation of natural environment as a result of different human activities. For example, deforestation, habitat fragmentation, wildfire, air pollution, and industrialization, water pollution, solid pollution, oil spillage on the marine environment, and massive death of animals. And this is massive death of fish. And this all type of ecological problem or environmental problem is caused by the different human activities, or it caused the damage or degradation to the ecosystems. And when we study the change of ecosystem in response to this different type of human-caused disturbance, how the ecosystem will change. And we're going to have a lecture about community succession in week 12. I'm going to talk about that in more detail. Okay, so if you are interested in this aspect of ecology, so we're going to leave the detailed content until week 12. Okay, and here I'm going to show you some a picture showing how humans destroy the nature. You can see this is massive killing of aquatic and terrestrial animal. This is whaling, and this is hunting for a rhinoceros, and this is a shark entangled by the abandoned fish net in the sea as a result of overfishing or abandoned fish net. So you can see different wildlife threatened as a result of these irresponsible human activities. And using fertilizer for extensive farming, overfishing, building dam across the river for water storage, which can cause serious impact to the river environment, river ecosystems, and also this is overdevelopment for urban city. So all of this would result in biodiversity crisis and cause a very serious problem to the ecosystems. So as a result of the irresponsible human activities, it causes biodiversity crisis. To understand what is biodiversity crisis, let's look at what is biodiversity. Biodiversity can be measured by species richness, which is equal to the total number of species present in a defined area. But is biodiversity exactly equal to species richness only? Of course not. Biodiversity can be measured at 3 different levels, including genetic diversity within the species, species richness, and variety of ecosystem types. And all these 3 levels are actually decreasing as a result of the biodiversity crisis. And we're going to have another lecture in week 13 talk about biodiversity and conservation in detail later in this semester. But now I'm going to show you some of the data. As you can see the data here for bird biodiversity, amphibian biodiversity, and fish biodiversity. You can see from the 1970 to year 2000, the biodiversity for these 3 major groups of animals are decreasing clearly. Okay. At the same time, the population density at both developed and developing countries are increasing in our world. So it shows us a rough correlation that population of human increase. It will associate with the biodiversity of different species decrease. And of course, we know that the biodiversity crisis is highly related to the human activities because humans use up their natural resources, their environmental resources, okay, and against the different animal and plant in the world. So what is the result of biodiversity crisis? Of course, it will cause the damage to the ecosystems. It includes all the species, and the physiochemical environment would be degraded. And the change in the ecosystem processes include different type of processes. For example, primary productivities, organic matter decomposition, or nutrient recycling would be lowered or would be changed. So it would cause the loss of ecological function and services. So what exactly are the problems we are facing? When the biodiversity decrease, it actually decrease the service provided by the natural ecosystem to us human. Okay, so what are the examples? For example, farming, okay, growing crops or growing vegetables in our environment, okay, because our ecosystem provide the fertile soil to support the growth of vegetable and different type of crops. If our soil environment are degraded as a result of human activities, the farming productivities would decrease. So the food produced from our land would decrease. So it would not support enough food for the human population. Okay? And another example is the clean air. In the forest, there are many trees. When the tree grows, they absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Okay, this is the process of photosynthesis. And at the same time, they the trees can help to purify the air quality. So if we have all the tree cut down to collect the wood for human use, then there will be no trees to help us to purify the air. So human will suffer from the bad air quality and the problem of greenhouse effects. Another example is the bees. Bees is an important pollinator. So it they plays very important role for the reproduction of many plants in the world, and they also help a lot for the agricultural crop for the pollination. So if there's no bees, when all bees are killed by overuse of pesticide, we will suffer from the problem of the crop reduction as a result of unsuccessful pollination due to the lack of natural pollinator. And also clean water quality and beautiful natural scenery is also part of the service provided by our nature. So different biodiversity in the ecosystem provide different service to support human survival and well-being. And here is a picture showing you a summary of different type of ecosystems. You can see here, and the services provided by different type of ecosystems. Okay, for example, for forest and woodland, they provide lots of different type of ecosystem services. Okay, at this time, students, you may have difficulty to understand what are these ecosystem services. Don't worry, we're going to have our lecture in week 14 and to talk about ecosystem service assessment in detail, okay? So, up to now, do you agree that we have to save biodiversity? Yes. Okay, we should understand we need biodiversity because biodiversity, they can provide us lots of important services to support the well-being of human population. So we may like it, we may need it, we like it, or we ought to, because some of you may have the feeling that as a human, we have the mission to protect the biodiversity because we like the biodiversity, we like the animal and plants, and we would like to, or you would like to protect the biodiversity to save the biological resources to support us and our future generations. But what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is not only including the lovely animal, but also some ugly animal, okay? So everything, all the animal and plant and all other living organism in the ecosystems. And in the case biodiversity conservation, sometimes it could conflict other things we need, we like, or we think we want to do, because when we may need to destroy the biodiversity sometime when we need to develop the land for farmland or industrial factories or houses for people. So always we need to have a struggling between the value of biodiversity and value of development. So which is more important? Okay, it comes to we need to have a balance between the biodiversity and development. So even if you understand that there may be a biodiversity crisis now, but how does that affect us? I have mentioned that many times today. As on our earth, all the plant, animals, lands and water and atmosphere, they can provide us lots of resources and lots of services. So sustaining the planet's ecosystems means that we will have our continued supply of biological resources that can help to support our health and livelihood. So all of these services are provided by our ecosystems. But actually, we are currently overusing our resources. So we are depleting our natural resources at an inappropriate manner. So we have to act now to protect our ecosystem, to understand our ecosystem by studying ecology, so that we will know how can we manage, how can we protect our resources effectively. Because reduction in biodiversity would cause millions of people face a future where food and water are in short supply. So studying ecology is very important because it is the basic knowledge and skill for understand our nature, management of our environment, biodiversity, and ecosystem. It helps to benefit from bioresources and ecosystem services to sustain our livelihood and health. And the restoration and recovery of production of good resources and services. Also, it helps to support the sustainable development of human population and society. So, ecology provides the basic knowledge that enable us to achieve all of these targets. So, we would like to have sustainable use of different resources to support our health and livelihood. At the same time, we would like to have sustainable resource for our future generations. That's why sustainable is very important. Sustainable means able to continue in the future. So, Sustainable Development Goals, 永续发展目标. This SDG, you may have seen this word for many times already, because this is the important points, important strategies proposed by the United Nations, and in different countries we have the same target to achieve these 17 targets before 2030. So these 17 targets cover different types that can support the sustainable development of human population. For different countries, including Taiwan, we have our national strategies all related to this 17 SDG, because this related to the sustainable future of the human population. And I'm not going to talk about SDG into too detail today. I will leave some of the detail on our last lecture. But here I would like to point out that 14 and 15 are the two most important SDG related to ecosystems. 14 is the life underwater. 15 is the life on land. So it's the marine biodiversity and all the terrestrial biodiversity, and the ecosystems. So studying ecology enables us to understand the basic problem underlying this 17 SDG, and how can we achieve these 17 SDGs. So I would like to point out here, studying ecology is not only a very interesting activities, but also it helps us to achieve a sustainable future for our human population. So I hope you all like studying ecology and you find it interesting. So at the end of this first lecture, if you are interested in the lecture content, you can refer to chapter 1 of the textbook. And today's lecture is would finish here because it's the first lecture. I'm not going to make it too long. Here is the end of our first lecture. today. And next week, we are going to start to talk about evolution and adaptation. And remember that next week, we're going to have normal lecture. So please come to the lecture room, okay, before lecture time. Okay, see you next week.